All right. We are here, and this is the WMB show. I am your host, Isaiah Israel. And listen, we're going to be covering some miles tonight in regard to our history, and I thought it was apropos because a lot of my memories that showed up on my Facebook deals with it. So, one of the things that I saw today was Lord Jamar, and he was talking about Eminem and how people just running behind him acting like, he's the greatest. But in reality, all of these so-called white artists are copycatting off of the greatness of black people. And we created every genre of music: country, pop, rap, jazz, blues, rock and roll. And that twang music that white folks love, the metal music. And so there is nothing that we have not done that these people have not copied. And this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I just want you to be able to sit back, relax, and really take in what I am saying and to be able to see our greatness of our forefathers and mothers in action today. Because history determines how you walk, talk, see, feel, think, and ultimately do. Because the road to manifesting what you want in your life begins with your thoughts. And then you speak it into existence, and then you actualize it through your actions, right? Yeah, we talked about this, and I talked about it on my other videos on my YouTube page, WMB of Lies and Deceit. And, we're going to be covering that in pretty much detail tonight. But, as it is, we're going to go right into my two books that I have written. The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit, which is what you can see right now. And book two deals with white supremacy. And that is available on Amazon as an ebook series. And I would highly recommend that you guys buy the ebook because there are a lot of important links that you can click and verify what I'm talking about. And with that, let's get at it. All right, so it's a little bit better, but we know, Murphy's Law is at hand. I played it, you know what I mean, the intro, and it worked perfectly. But when I'm on the air, it seems like it just goes haywire. I don't know what the heck is going on, but we'll get it right. And as the podcast grows and the audience grows, we're gonna really make this podcast become a number one viewership on the internet because we really bring it to you. We want you to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And when you can be able to relate to the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. Because history is circular, not linear. It repeats itself. And so when we are looking at our ancestors in the past, we are looking at ourselves in the present and the future. When we are looking at our ancestors in the past, we are looking at ourselves in the present and the future. They are speaking to you through me and through a lot of people right now as we speak. And that's the whole point of the WMB show. It's to allow people to see through the imagery, which is what really nails people to the wall of understanding. Because you can see it, you can feel it, you can damn near touch it. And you can truly get a great sense in your heart and soul that our ancestors are calling us back home, back to the basics, back to the foundation of reality, of I can and I am and I shall be the greatest of what I can imagine and bring into existence. And so with that, I really want to touch on one thing that I saw today that was really apropos to what this show is about. And I found it amazing that Batman is related to a 2,500-year-old Mayan god called Kamasos. And I'm going to bring that up in a minute, but I just want to, um, you know, talk about it a little bit and to allow you guys to see the power of the past and its effect on the present. Because all of these so-called superheroes are basically black heroes that existed a long time ago. And it is critical for us to know the past because it is so powerfully reflected in the present. And like I said, when you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. So listen, tonight is really critical for me because I really want to try to hit a home run here and allow you guys to really get a good sense of what I'm talking about and how important it is to study, not to allow anybody to fill your heart and soul and mind with um, false notions, false ideas, false ideologies. And to be honest, white supremacy is an ideology of um, self-deprecation, I guess, low self-esteem. And, when a person feels that, they got to put somebody else down in order to lift themselves up, that's it. That's classic psychology 101. And when I think about all of the people who are affected, it really blows my mind that no one can't, seem to put two and two together. And, this is what this show is about, revealing the truth to its utmost honest, open, and direct way. And that's the only way you're going to deal with lies, is by revealing the truth, accepting it, and, excuse me, and moving on. And all of these lies that's been told in the United States are affecting black people and white people. Because the more I look at society as a whole in terms of our people, the more I see the destruction of their greatness because they don't know what happened in the past. And so when you are denied that in the history books, on TV 24/7, and you are told that you're a criminal, you're a thug, that, you kind of act out that way. It's like, I don't want to say a curse, but a spell that if you can take a child at an early age and tell him or her that you ain't shit, you'll never be shit, and you ain't about shit, and your ancestors weren't shit, more than likely, that child is going to take on that role of not being shit, because you told me. It must be true. It got to be true. Every time I look into the history books, I only see my ancestors picking cotton, not being the proverbial creators of the 13 colonies. and the creators of every civilization on the planet, and of all of the all of the world religions, and world philosophies, and math, and science, and physics, you name it. Black people did this, but it is so hard to wake up and see the light. And this is, what I'm talking about. That is so critical for people to accept. And I think as the days, weeks, months, and years go by, slowly but surely, people are going to wake up to the reality of the truth. Because a new day is dawning in America and around the world. We have Google, search engines. We have other search engines. And people are just waking up and spreading and sharing the information, especially on Facebook. And I think a lot, I think and I know a lot of people are being, put into Facebook jail for spreading the truth. And a lot of the times, the white people who are on there, they're just reacting to what they know and what they were taught. They're like kids. They don't know anything more than what they've been told. And so, you can't still blame them because as an adult, you should be able to know and see that what you have been taught is a lie. And it is upon the person to be able to see that and to grow and to be able to remove all of those uh, falsities and fake ideologies that are not based on anything but a sense, a false sense of self. And the more I think about it, the more I know, to be honest with you, that it's going to take a hell and high water for white people in general to really let go. And to be honest, I don't really see it because the drug or the demonic possession that they are under, the spell of white supremacy, is a hell of a drug. To be honest, I don't see them giving it up because they bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And as far as the other side of the coin goes, there's hope. There's a lot of black people who are coming into the fold and accepting their heritage and their traditions or whatever they may be. Because in reality, Africa begins and ends in the four corners of the world, and that black people are the indigenous people of the world. And with that being the case, black people can be whatever the hell they want to be. If they want to claim to be Chinese, they can be Chinese. Japanese, they can be Japanese. Pacific Islanders, we are everywhere and everybody. Because everybody comes from us. And you're going to see that tonight. I want to bring up some May and really get into the heart and soul and mind of what, this is, tonight's episode is all about. But I'm not going to delay for too much longer. I'm trying to bring up the Kamaso's article as I'm talking. But for whatever reason, the computer is a little bit slow. I don't know why. But, I'm going to get to it. And I got it on my mind and putting it on the table here so we can get to it. But the thing is about Kamasos, the Mayan god that has the same shape and form as Batman, was without a doubt in my mind where Hollywood got his, present Batman hero from. It gotta be. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing doesn't happen just because it happens out of the blue. The fact that white guy did not write the U.S. Constitution, they got that from the Iroquois Nation Constitution. It's proof. White people just didn't sit around the table and just say, let's start a civilization. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen out of the blue and for nothing and out of nothing. There had to have been some kind of influence before that. So, let me see here. I'm trying to get this up. But, we're going to move on and we're going to get back to this before we leave. And then I'm going to make sure that you guys see this. Now, this first image deals with Africa being at the center of the world, at the center of the table, with like a T-bone succulent steak, and you got Madagascar at the bottom there, to the bottom right, and the continent of Africa. But like I said, Africa begins and ends at the four corners of the world. But let's just focus in on the continent itself. Now, we all know that Muammar Gaddafi was the president for life in Libya. And his goal was to unite all of Africa, because all of Africa, the continent, has all of the resources that the world needs. Now, you see Israel, and Great Britain, the United States, and France sitting at the table and gobbling up what they can and getting their bellies full from their mother, the continent of Africa. And, I talked about this too. White people have always been the slaves of the world. And the word slave comes from the word Slav, the Indo-European. And we, as black people, as Moors, or however you want to, describe them, took millions upon millions of these so-called Slavic Indo-European people into slavery. In fact, we allowed or let go or freed 30 million of them from slavery. And, like I said before, King James took the skin off their back and used it as a book cover for his Bible. They were skinned, they were treated, badly. And we brought them to the United States, to make a long story short, to work to work the plantation, sugar plantation, and the tobacco plantation, and even the cotton fields. But after forming the 13 colonies that became the 13 states under the reign of King James, King Charles, and King George, we find that King George, of which the state of Georgia is named after, told the colonists, after getting Spain and France offered the colonists back, do not go beyond the Appalachian Mountains, creating problems and stealing the land. But the colonists saw an opportunity that was being fed by greed to begin to take those lands. And this is the reason why I say the United States only consists of 13 states. That's it. And D.C. And this can be quickly resolved and accepted when you look at the state of Hawaii and the state of Alaska. Those two states and those two black kingdoms were never given a plebiscite to remain an independent black nation. Now you can Google President Bill Clinton's mandate or law that was passed during his presidency, asking for the Kingdom of Hawaii to forgive what the United States did to them. Facts. And so, I'm not going to dwell on that in detail. I had done that before, and you can buy the book, The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit, 1 and 2. And it really goes into detail about that and what is white supremacy. Um, but, this particular meme or picture is tantamount to understanding that the world needs Africa. Africa does not need the world. And I did bring up the other night, like a couple of nights ago, about this black woman who was at a TEDx speaking, event, and she was from Sierra Leone, and she was talking about how wealthy Sierra Leone is. Marlins or something like that, a beautiful sister, queen, and she really put it down that Africa does not need any white folks. White folks need black people, period. And once you understand that the continent of Africa is not as small as it is on the map as we know it is, I think it's a Peter projections map, it can fit all of the continents in it and still have a lot of room left. It's like a pregnant mother that gave birth to all the other continents. And that's true. And so when you begin to see that Africa is as big as it is on the map, that does something to your mind. It expands your mind and explodes your mind to the potential of which you must have. Because our ancestors saw it in themselves. They did not see God outside themselves and built churches. They saw themselves as gods and built pyramids. Real talk, real deep, and fundamental to the takeover of the world. You got to be able to see yourself as gods and goddesses. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding are the three critical gems of Solomon that we all need to apply. And we can understand that there are laws to the physical universe in which we live. And you're not going to jump off a building and kill yourself. You know the law of gravity is going to take over. Just as there are physical laws, there are there are money laws. And if you don't obey them, you're gonna be poor all your life. And this is the problem that a lot of people have, not just black people. I'm just talking about people in general. But in looking at America and black people in general, we're not using our money correctly. We're not saving it and investing it correctly. And we need to see the power of money and what it can do, because money will work harder for you than you will ever work for it. And that's real talk. And that's something that needs to be done and understood and examined and looked at. Money will work harder for you than you will ever work for it, period. And I'm just amazed that, a lot of people are not, taking that seriously as if it's a joke, So, but, we'll get to it. So let's move on. Now, this one is Margaret Sanger. Now, she said out of her own mouth, which is this quote: "We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population." I can't, explain it any simpler. Kill black people. And that was the result of the Tasmanian people. They don't exist anymore, guys. They have been wiped off the planet. And as I can read this, it says, as has happened everywhere, that the Europeans have conquered and settled, death and destruction were brought to the native Tasmanian people, who were completely and violently butchered out of existence by European invaders. First through disease, which wiped out thousands. Sound familiar? Then through direct violence. The last of the Tasmanians, William Laney for short, died in 1869. Dr. Lodewijk Qualther removed his head in the name of science at the Colonial Hospital and made a tobacco pouch out of his scrotum. The entire Tasmanian race is now extinct, their land stolen. And so, like I've said in my other videos, white people have decivilized the world, not civilized it. And if black people had stayed in control after 1492, we would be 500 years more advanced than what we are now. So white people have not done the world a favor. They have disfavored it. They have destroyed civilization because they don't know what the word means, civil. And like I said many a time before, they have brought four things to this world, the four corners of it: death, destruction, disease, and despair. They don't know what the fuck they doing. They're playing. They're like little children, and our ancestors told them this. You're like children. You just go about your business and do what you want to do, how you want to do it, and never even looking at the consequences. And this is how they are. Children, childlike mind, mentality. I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it because I'm white. And I say so. Law. As, I talked about many times before. And this is their heritage. Pure and simple, out of the Asian steppe, whether they want to admit it or not. It is their heritage, their culture, their language, which they don't have any, and they never had any. It is a culture of violence. And they had sex, with their dogs and with their other animals in the caves and amongst themselves, and sleeping in their own urine and fecal matter. Period. Now, this one is very, very, very important. It talks about William Penn, who was the founder of Pennsylvania, and he was a Moor, a black guy, whether you want to believe that or not. And he says, in this particular article, you can pretty much read it. I tried to expand it enough not to make it blurry, so I think you should be able to read it. And I'm not going to read it here. You can always stop, the video and read it, and then keep moving forward. Allow the video to keep moving forward. But he said point blank, that the Indians in America were of Hebraic origin. Period. And I found that significant because a lot of other books gave references to that fact as well. And don't forget that the Indians were black people, later named black, Negro, African American. And the first use of African Americans were like in the 1780s, if I'm not mistaken. And you can Google that fact as well. It wasn't something that Jesse Jackson thought of. It's a very old term. Now, this book is very good. I would recommend it. The Medieval Empire of the Israelites. I'm not going to get into any, chapters and all that stuff. This is just putting it up here as a recommended book to read. But it's very good. And I'm not going to be giving out, any reviews of it. Just in support of what I had just posted and who were the medieval empires of the Israelites were. Now, we have spoken about this many a time before on other videos, that, when I was going to these so-called white synagogues, they looked at me like God. Like, wow, I wish I could be a real Jew. You know what I mean? Because they know they're not. They call themselves Ashkenazic for a reason. Ashkenaz is their Gentile father who converted to the Hebraic African way of life. Within their title, within their name, is the secret. It's not even a secret, it's just out there. Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenaz was a Gentile who converted to the African Hebraic way of life. Point blank, real simple, nothing complicated to accept. Just accept it and move on. And obviously, the guy on the left is the real Jew. Now here, I was trying to find, information when I was writing my book about King Charles V. He was one of the kings down there in South America. And as you can see, it says Carlos Quinto, which is in Spanish means Charles V, black man. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. There it is. Carlos Quinto, el rey de Inglaterra durante el siglo de, yo creo que era 17. All right, so we're going to move down. We're going to move on. Now here, you got to realize too that during the time of our rule throughout all of Europe and subjugating these albinoids and European people, we did the same to them as they are doing to us. It's more of a revenge thing. We use God as a, how you put it, hypnotic, suggestive control factor, and gave credence to what we did because we were saying that God told us to do it. Shit. The more I think about this, the more easier it is to accept that, when your back is up against the wall, you're going to fight. This is what these albinoids did. This is what the Europoids did. This is what the Caucasoid people did. And they're just striking out. But, you're striking out against a losing situation because you are outnumbered 9-1. You're going to lose. So, what goes around comes around. And when it's our turn, all hell is going to break loose. It's breaking loose already. But I'm just saying, and I digress. But as you can see from here, all of the biblical people and prophets were black people. And if you believe in Jesus, as St. Ruger from TYT would say, he was black. Now, this is critical. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. And it really is. In today's society, we're stuck on Kardashians, Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, and bullshit. Because the media know that they can lead us down the path to bullshit. Taking our minds off the real topics, like the topic I was talking about last night, Fukushima, that it just turned the asshole out of America down in Florida and other parts in the eastern part of the United States and the southwest, that we have some serious leakage of radioactive water or whatever you want to call it into our drinking supply, and they're not talking about it. And so when you're looking at this meme, it said the eyes are useless when the mind is blind, meaning that if you control the other person's mind and get them off their, um, you know, focus, you can manipulate them and have them to do what the hell you want them to do. And this is the power of the media because they're doing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. All right? Now, this is the ex-president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser. Now, I mentioned him before, and I think it was uh, important to mention it again. And he says it. When he was asked about peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, the Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white. They left black and came back white. And look at the state of the Middle East and Israel now versus the Palestinians, who are actually the real Jews. They are Semitic. They're not, Arab per se, the ethnic group, which is not a race, but they are the real Jews. And so am I. But, it's high time for, white folks to just to let it go. And like I said, they're not. But, we can't get stuck on stupid and hoping that they do and waiting for them to do something. Fuck them. They're dumber than a box of rocks. They're going to keep on believing what they are believing in, white supremacy, that they're not going to let it go. They are hypnotized by it. And like this particular May says, my pimp game has been tight for 2,000 years, damn it. And coming this time to you bitches, better have my goddamn money. White Jesus. White Jesus. White Jesus. Oh Lord, white Jesus. Fuck white Jesus. Yeah, fuck black Jesus too. Shit, what the fuck? Now this one is really important because you need to be able to see that our forefathers, the Indians, were not red. They're copper toned, black, brown, and all other colors, but not white. And what is so pertinent about this particular picture, you see the Masonic symbol on the wall of the house in the upper left corner, almost. Now, I like pictures because a picture is worth 1,000 words. You're not going to argue with it. You're not going to fight about it. It is what it is. Because imagery is so important. You can't deny it. Now, in this particular meme or quadro or picture, it shows all of the races of men. The American, Arctic, Australian, European, Mongolian, and African. The one on the lower left is a Caucasian. Look like a nigger to me. Look like a nigger to me. Now, I'm just trying to be funny, but that's real talk. A real European is not the one to the right of the Caucasian guy, which is the black guy. All of these people should have been put as black people because we are everywhere. An Arctic person is not that particular kind of person in the middle, and the European doesn't look like that either. But these people try to play the game and play crazy and act stupid, but they're not. They know, but we don't know. We must know. All right. So let's move on. Now, this is where I was trying to get into about King Louis the 14th, the Sun King. Now, he's not called the Sun King just because it sounds good. He was called the King because he was as black as ink. And we're going to get into that. And this is why I love pictures and, maybe I have pictures. And you can see that this is his daughter. It said that the queen was delivered of a fine little girl, black as ink, from head to foot. They did not tell her this at once, fearing a catastrophe, but persuaded her to go to sleep, saying that the child had been taken away to be christened. And you can continue to read from here. But this is, or was his daughter, uh, Saint Therese, or Teresa. And you can stop it and read it. I'm not going to, read it all the way through. Now, this is were the bodies of the kings that were described. Several of these bodies were very well preserved, particularly that of Louis the XIII and Louis the XIV was also in good preservation, but his skin was as black as ink. And it says, it is like Old English, so let me try to get this right. The rest were in a state of liquid putrefaction, especially that of the great dolphin. Now, all of these people were black people. Now, here again, white folk love to lie and scheme and connive and try to throw shade. But Louis the XIII, it says, has inherited neither the rough, though martial air of his father, nor the beauty of his Italian mother. His face is long, thin, and sallow, his hair dark and scanty. He is far from blah, blah, blah. Sallow people mean dusky, dark. Do I need to say more? Case closed. End of discussion. There's no more. And with all these so-called, yeah, that's another thing. With all these so-called white universities like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, you name it, giving out PhD to these dumbass race scientists like Blumenbach and Miser or Meyer or whatever the hell his name was, y'all need to get y'all ass whooped and give me my goddamn PhD. I'm serious. Because posthumously, you must take it back and apologize. And to state in the media, on TV, radio, print, that you guys fucked up. That you guys knew what the truth was and what the importance of black contribution was and is and will always be to the world. They knew it. Now here they talk about whitewash, and they talk about Louis the XIV, and a large wig, arched eyebrows, aquiline nose, and brown complexion, and a blue, I can't really say, this is like really old English, and armor, and a truncheon in the right hand. But it's like old English. I can't really read it, so it's not really to my forte, right? But you get the idea. Brown complexion, brown skin. Not white. And here it is. I'm living my best life, motherfucker. I ain't coming back to save you niggas. And who is? We must save ourselves. There ain't no white Jesus coming down from the sky, no black Jesus coming down from the sky, no Asian Jesus coming down from the sky, no Mexican Jesus coming down from the sky. We must do it. Now, I've said this a lot of times, that the black woman is God. And it says scientifically, the black woman is the only organism that possesses the mitochondrial DNA that has all the variations possible for every different kind of human being on this earth. When the DNA of a black woman mutates, all other types of human beings come about. You can read this topic, and it is true. On research, this is called the Eve gene, and it's only found in black women. All hail to the black woman, God. Now, this is another book that you can find online, and you can it's in a PDF file, or you can buy it. The Secret Mysteries Among the Mayas and the Quiches, or however you pronounce it. 11,500 years ago. Great book. And here it is, the black woman. You have all kinds of people coming from her. This is a beautiful picture, though, by the way. It gives credence to what it's all about. So I'm going to let that stay there for a few seconds and see if this one is ready or not. Um, so yeah, what is going on right now? I'm trying to, get this Mayan god Kamasot up and running here. So hold on for a second before we move on. Now, one of the things that I like about this picture is that it bespeaks the humanity of people. That once we begin to accept and to move on and to know that black people are the fathers and mothers of everyone, the world would know peace, even though hate is a multi-billion-dollar business. It can't be no more than love is. Love of knowledge and understanding and love of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's a multi-trillion-dollar business. So I don't know why in hell we're not, you know, doing something about that. But I digress. Now here, hold on, let me see here. Yeah, I'm having, I gotta admit, I'm having a little bit of problem trying to get this up. Okay, I think I got it. Let's see if it comes up here. Okay, so let me bring that up, and you can guys can be able to see that picture. So this is what I was talking about. A lot of these things that are out here, white people have stolen and make it to be their own, and it's not. And that's the beautiful part about history and discovering the truth. Because no lie can live forever, and the truth does set you free. It really does. And the more I think about it, the more I know that, in the end, what saves one saves all. And you just cannot do what you want to do, uh, white people, and not expect for it to bite you in the butt. It's going to. It has to. Because in the end, truth always wins, and evil always destroys those who partake in it. Always and always. And I find it hard to believe that, people want to do that. Evil destroys itself, and people who partake in it always, ALWAYS, and always, Allways. And, like I said before many a times, that it's not worth it because you lose all respect from the world. And the people who were thinking otherwise about you will learn the truth because it always comes to the fore. It will always come back and bust your nose, mouth, and eyes wide open. And so the more I think about it, you guys, the more I know that I am doing the right thing on this program. I'm bringing you the best of what I can and knowing that in the end, people are going to start waking up. And they have to. I mean, people don't stay asleep forever. And in the end, vindication is, the name of the game. It has to be. It must be. And it is. And for those who lied are going to be put in a position that we are in. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, and so, as we move forward here, I just want you to know that, everything is possible, you guys. You got to keep on keeping on. You can't give up. You can't give out. You can't give in. And that the day will come. And to be honest, I see a new day dawning, and a new day that will take its rightful place. It must do so. And the more I think about it, the more certain I am in knowing that what I am doing now is going to pay off. So, people just need to just sit back, relax, and learn. Because you cannot depend on anyone to tell you anything, to be honest with you. And this is why I say, whatever I am putting up on the screen, you must verify it. Check it out, Google it, and, make it concrete in your own mind. And knowing that when you do study it, and you do read the book that I suggest and other books that will, follow in the bibliography of those books, you're going to come away with a more solid foundation because you did the work and not just listening to what I'm saying and then, saying, oh, well, Isaiah said this and it must be true. No, it's because you verified it and that now you are becoming your own personal master, your own personal teacher, that you have verified everything and checked it out thoroughly, and that there's no doubt. And when there is no doubt in your mind, you have faith in what you are saying, because now, you can speak truth to power. And that's what it's all about. It's not about, putting anybody down. It's about lifting yourself up with the truth. And that's all of what is required. And the final analysis, or in the final analysis, what is important is how you see the world. Because when you know the, history, the past, let me put it that way. When you know the past, you can understand the present and predict the future. This is not hard. This is not something that is, difficult to see. And you'll begin to, appreciate our ancestors' work, skill, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, and you will become motivated, more so, and never giving up, and leaving a legacy of achievement behind. And so, the more I think about it, the more I know that my work here it will be validated, and that's all of what is required. So, um, you know, I pray that every day that I am on here, that I can really um, make lucid statements and bring facts to the table, knowing that what I'm doing is valid and that it is warranted and that it is appreciated. And that's all of what is required, you know. Um, so, with all of that being said, let me go on to the latter part of this, and we're gonna kind of wrap it up here. And sometimes you just gotta say, "Oh hell no," because in the end, what matters is truth. And I think Obama would appreciate that. At least I would hope. And with all of that being said, we're gonna go on. Now this is the Kamasos, the Batman god of Maya, and it might not look like Batman, but that was the image that that they um, worship, I guess. And so I'm trying to bring up this other image. I'm gonna see what is. So uh, as I said so many times, you cannot just trust the media or what they try to tell you. You really, really got to do your own research and verify it and validate it in your own mind. Because if you don't, it'll be like anybody can say anything and you'll believe it. And you can't do that. And you can't allow your mind to be manipulated with what somebody else wants you to know or to see. And so when you are battling back, you gotta confront lies with truth. Period. And then readjust it in your own mind because I know a lot of people are gonna suffer from cognitive dissonance, and that can be a hell of a trip. And you gotta break down your own uh, mind and build it back up with truth, and then resituate yourself. And that can take a lot of guts, a lot of determination, and a lot of stick-to-itiveness, because you have to totally vacate what you thought was right, and then um, battle back and accept the truth, and then move on. But a lot of people find that hard to do, and I can understand that because I've been through that, and it can be a hell of a trip because you go across the state, the world, even your own family. You don't even got to go throughout the state and the world, and you find people looking at you like you done lost your damn mind. Like, oh, we didn't do that. That's not possible. White people did that. White people did this. How could we have done that? And all I've ever seen was, niggas picking cotton. But it is true. And you must reorient yourself to the truth. That we come from the greatest people on the face of this planet. And that's not a bragging point to put other people down. But the goal to be that and to do that and be the light for other people to follow. And if not, then we're being dismissive of our true selves, period. And I know I'm not going to do that. And I pray that you guys won't fall into that, same mindset that it is so critical um, to push it forward, pay it forward, and be a great example for kids that are coming up behind us. Because if we can't be that, then what's the point? And so now we're coming up on an hour. I just want to say thank you guys for really, showing up tonight if you are here. And I'm going to post this as soon as I am done. And I'd like to first to say that, we have a blog as well, the whitemanburden.blog. And you can go there and sign up for it, and, there's like well over 2,000 articles that are there. And so when you visit the YouTube page, WMB of Lies and Deceit, make sure you subscribe and visit our online t-shirt store where you can buy the t-shirts and the mugs. And also, if you like what you hear on our show and previous episodes, then please support the channel on Patreon, which is the link under the description, as well as PayPal. 50 cents, $1, $100, $1 million, whatever the case, to help us get this message out here. And also making sure that you guys are aware again that, book 1 and book 2 are available on Amazon.com. And, you can see that in book 1 and book 2. The White Man's Burden of Lies and Deceit 2, Understanding White Supremacy. So we're going to wrap it up, and tomorrow night, Friday, is Freak Out Friday. I'm going to have to apologize because I thought last night was Thursday and today is Friday. But that's cool. But tomorrow night, we're just going to let it all hang out and laugh. Because some people are just silly. And all of these maymays that I got, you guys are going to enjoy them and have a good time. And we're just going to laugh our asses off with the food. All right? So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, don't be late. Be there or be square. And we'll see you. And we're out of here. Peace. And stay black. All right, peace, great things, stay black, and be here tomorrow night for Freak Out Friday, 8 p.m. Peace.